photos, your audio source, whether it's HD, whether it's Bluetooth, whether it's CD, it doesn't matter, then your climate. Or you can change it to equalizer. It's your choice. So as you can see here, the HD logo is meaning pretty much that HD is locked in on this station. The station is 107.5, and we have 3 sidebands, or 2 sidebands in a main programming station. One is typically your main programming station. You have an analog and a digital. So on that station, you have both the analog and the digital. They're the same content. On the other 2 stations, or other 2 channels, should I say, they're not. They're all digital. There is no analog frequency for those.
Right.
So if you wanted to, from this page or screen, change to channel 2, you can just tune it up and it changes. And you also get your artist and title information. Turn it again, you go to channel 3.
Okay.
Or you can do the seek. Seek down. Seek down. Same thing with steering wheel button controls. Goes to the next station. So it's a press and hold feature. The way Ford decided to design this HMI and keep in mind is we did a benchmark study against other OEMs and aftermarket products with HD. And what we did is we took the best of all of those, and then the bad things that we thought some of the companies did, and we made sure that we either didn't do them or mitigated them, and then we made sure we did do them, or we refined on them to make them even better. So this is kind of how we came up with the design that we came up with. Here is the actual audio screen. So what you'll end up with is your HD logo and then your multicast. The multicast is 2 things. It's an indicator for the user, and it's also a button. So what we decided to end up doing was, when it's a button, when you press it, it cycles through. Okay. So to just keep going through all of the channels, never leaving that frequency. So you don't have to press the seek or the tune or the steering wheel control. The other thing that we did is, what we found out is customers would get confused by what channel and how many channels they had. So some OEMs or some products would just say HD. So you know you have HD, but how many channels do I have? Do I have 1? Do I have 2? Do I have 3? How many do I have? That wasn't noted. So that was why we came up with this type of design. We have a capability of 8, but typically we're only seeing about 3 right now max. So another thing that you always get is your HD button. So if I'm on an HD1 and I'm on a fringe area and I'm beginning to lose the signal and it's blending back and forth from analog to digital, I just turn it off. And now my HD source is off.
Okay.
So now all I have is analog radio, and it just acts like an analog radio without receiving any digital.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm on 2, because 2 doesn't have a fallback plan for analog, it's only digital.
Yeah.
When I hit it, I disable the multicast from the user being able to select it at this point. But I didn't want to just completely cut off the audio from it.
Sure.
So now the next time they hit a seek or a tune, the HD is gone.
Okay, I'm with you. Yeah.
So 2 through 8 works that way. 1, we turn it off immediately because we have a fallback plan of the analog.
Makes sense.
Going back. Another thing we did was we allowed the user to be able to save presets of HD2 through HD8. So when you get presets of HD2 through 8, they're denoted by the HD2 or HD3 logos right by them. What that does, that allows the customer not to be confused. Well, if I'm on one station and I just press this, I get a mute. No audio for about 5 or 8 seconds. So if this just said HD, then they'd be wondering, well, why does it take so long to acquire? But by putting the HD2 logo on there, or HD2 through 8, they automatically know from past experience that when tuning directly to one of those channels, that it's going to be a delay because there is no analog to fall back to.
Yeah, sure.
So that was some of the rationale behind why we created the design, the way we created it. The shortcuts as far as being able to direct tune to an HD2 station. Some other manufacturers didn't implement that. They just, you know, you have one or two, or you had to have a different source. We blended all of them. If you want HD, if you want analog, however you want it, sure, you're able to save it. However, if HD is on, even though this is an analog station, it's going to blend in, very quick 95.5, it's going to blend HD in if it's available.
Oh, right, okay. So by default, yeah.
Yes.
To give you the better quality.
Yes.
Okay.
If it's on. But if it's not on and I press it, it just goes to 95.5.
Perfect.
Now, another thing that we did that was really cool is if I turn HD off, then I go back to my presets. The user wants to listen to HD2 105. We automatically turn it on for them.
Okay.
So now we automatically turn it on and we tune to HD2.
Yeah, get the best of the world. Okay.
So the other feature that we did was we were able to do a voice commands for HD also.
Please say a command.
Tune to 107.5 HD2.
Radio FM 107.5 HD2.
You'll also notice that you're going to have acquiring in the lower status bar because you have that muted status during that time where there's no audio. Mm-hmm. We always want the customer to know something's happening.
Yeah.
So you don't see much going on the screen outside of the lower status bar telling them acquiring. We used acquiring because they're already familiar with that terminology from Sirius radio, satellite radio. So they're already familiar with that technology. They understand what that means. Mm-hmm. So pretty much, I'm not sure if you guys have any questions or...
Well, to be honest with you, a lot of this for us is quite new because